Alright, so something we're going to do before we start part 6, I think, is let's go in here to the eShop and let's look up how they advertise this game.
So, let's go to Corpse. Corpse, and that should be it. Search.
Most of what you saying, okay, so they don't have a video for you to watch, it seems. Right? Nope, don't have a video to watch. Look at the screenshots. That one, which is like, okay, that can just be like a loading screen for the game. That we've seen. But, there we go. Also, gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. Another one. So, it's showing mostly gameplay, so you would assume that it's similar to the first game, and there's not a ton of reading stuff. Trying to look through it. Yeah. It's the final installment of the Heavenly Host Saga. Explore the decaying ruins of Heavenly Host Elementary and other locations in order to end a deadly curse once for all. Along the way, solve puzzles, dodge traps, and run from malicious entities to avoid the Corpse Party series' notorious wrong ends. Detailed environments with dynamic lighting, pulse-pounding gameplay systems. Not really mentioning, hey, this is going to be like a light novel for the first 2 hours of the game. It's insane. I don't get it at all. Anyways, let's try to get to the gameplay that they mention. So we ended here. Shinozaki, what are you doing here this late? I thought you went home.
ごめんね、こんな遅くに。アルバイト？
ああ、今日は遅番だったからな。で、まさかずっと待ってたのか？なんか悪かったな。
So he works at the convenience store?
うん、平気。
It was actually a really chilly night. I could see Shinozaki's breath dissipating around her chin in short, frequent bursts.
平気じゃねえだろ。震えてんじゃねえか。嫌じゃなければ寄ってけよ。シャくらい出してやる。
うん。
Now we're reading from Kishinima's perspective. My room was on the second floor of the apartment building. I hadn't been expecting guests, but I had just tidied up for my own sake a little while back, so it was fairly presentable. Shinozaki immediately sat down on my bed and began sipping the tea I'd made for her. She was holding it in both hands, probably less for politeness and more just to warm them up.
だろ？妹がいつも送ってくんだよ。いい茶話。
The sound of a large truck driving by seemed to catch her off guard. She was clearly a bit jittery. Unsurprising, all things
こ
considered.
の時間まで工事してるんだ。
ああ、年末近くになるとこういう意味のない工事増えるな。うるさいわ眩しいわで寝れやしねえよ。
The truck drove by, and somehow she knows there's construction going on. Doesn't really make sense. Time passed us by at a snail's pace. Shinozaki continued to sip her tea, never once removing either hand from the warm cup. She definitely had something on her mind, something that had happened. It was written all over her
親
face.
に断ってきてんのか？
ううん。 連絡は大丈夫。
Huh? Probably should be like, I don't know why they didn't. Never mind, I'll try to stop nitpicking and just get through this.
そうか。
Shinozaki was in my room. I dreamed about this before, but never thought it would actually happen.
つか。なんだな。いや、どうしたんだよ、こんな遅くに。なんかあったのか？
うん。あのね。
はあ？今から展示場に行くだ？
I was half acting as admittedly, this wasn't entirely unexpected. Shinozaki may be a lot of things, but unpredictable is not among them.
お願い。
で、この石を取りに来たのか。
I took out the Ever After stone I'd stolen from
いい
Aiko.
か、篠崎。確かにこの石はさっき光ってたし、何か力はあるかもしれねえ。だがよ、もう一度あそこに行ったところで、何をどうできるんだ。また出られなくなって、下手したら今度こそ死んじまう。そうなりゃ、ここでのお前の存在まで消えちまうかもしれねえんだぞ。
I tried to be as strong and commanding as I could possibly muster. I needed her to realize what a bad idea this
私の
was.
存在なんていい。それよりみんなを救いたいの。
救う？
黒の本、ブックオブシャドウズのありかが分かったの。
さっき言ってたあの本のことか。
見て。
She had that autograph thing from Aiko with her and was pointing to the little girl's left arm. Yeah, we can see the photo again.
私たち実はもうさっき見えていたのよ。この女の子の左手のところ、それがブックオブシャドウズよ。
I didn't have to look very hard to see it, but
本か、確かに持ってるな。それでこれがブックオブシャドウズだっていう確証はあんのかよ。
ないけど、でも多分間違いないと思う。
多分ってお前。
天神賞へはね、この本を取り戻しに行くの。そしたらみんなの魂を涅槃から解き放てる。鈴本さんたちを今度こそ生き返らせることができるわ。
how could I argue with that? There were so many assumptions being made, but she was so sure of herself, so certain that this would work. She wasn't about to listen to reason. Shinozaki shook her head furiously, like some sort of violent shudder. It almost seemed like she was trying to shake something loose from her mind. And they did kind of a bad job with that too, because you can see like the text box, the cutscene where you see the pictures don't entirely leave out the text box. It like comes in before it goes away.
つか、そもそもこんな石で本当に展示場に行けるのか？あの女、庭愛子だっけか？どう見てもうさんくさかったぜ。
それは試してみなきゃだけれど、でももしまた天神賞に行けたら、みんなの魂がそこにあるんだから、今度こそ反抗の術が成功すると思うの。
篠崎。
She still had deep scars all along her arms, legs, and neck. Anyone could tell at a glance that she'd just recovered from a serious accident. She sounded so self-assured, so self-confident, but it was hard to take any of that seriously. This was the first time in my life I'd found myself tearing up over someone and not being embarrassed that I was crying. First time in my life I'd found myself, okay, I guess it makes sense. Honestly, it surprised even me how deeply I cared about Shinozaki, and how much I just didn't want to lose her. My eyes were getting hot and glazed, and I felt utterly
こんなこと
helpless.
誰にも話せないけど、あなたは信じてくれる、岸沼君。
I was at a complete loss for words. I found myself literally scratching my head trying to come up with a good answer. This was Shinozaki, and she had come to me for moral support, for encouragement, for peace of mind. It was really the first time she'd ever truly relied on me, ever truly counted on me. Yeah. Still, need to tell her she's crazy. I knew then what I had to do.
もうよ、あのクソ学校であんな目にあって帰ってきたんだ。今さら何があっても驚きゃしねえよ。お前が言うんならきっとそうなんだろう。理解はできないけどな。できないままに俺は決めたことがある。
決めたこと？
ああ、
That I protect
何
you.
があってもお前を守るってよ。
Shinozaki and I stared into each other's eyes for a moment, each of us trying to figure the other
心
out.
配すんな。大丈夫だ。
I tried to force a smile. Shinozaki had basically curled up into a ball at this point. Her tiny body collapsed in on itself for support, but now all of a sudden she unfurled herself and glared at me. I couldn't tell if she was mad or happy or what. Her eyes were either like daggers or saucers. I couldn't really make out which. Maybe she'd come here expecting me to actively shoot down her ideas or something. Maybe she thought she'd be alone in this. Maybe she figured out what I was up to. Or maybe she'd been expecting me to say exactly what I'd said to her, and maybe it annoyed her. Either way, tears began to explode from her eyes, so quickly that red bags were forming under them almost instantly. She then turned her back to me, all with one seemingly unconscious spin of her body.
どうした篠崎。
あのね、昼間私の頭ポンポンってしたでしょ。
She seemed like she was trying her hardest not to let herself cry, though it wasn't exactly working.
んなことしたか。
した。あれだけど。
She paused, seemingly waiting for me to answer, but I had no idea what to say, and absolutely didn't want to say the wrong thing, so I just stood there like a
や
dolt.
っぱり覚えてないなら。
Finally, she turned back to face me, her tears almost dry, her tears mostly dry, still a little self-conscious about crying, though she kept her eyes closed, a telltale frown belying her confidence. There was obviously something between the lines for me to read here, but hell if I knew what it was.
ああ、お前の持ってる石の片割れ見せてくれよ。
うん。
Shinozaki removed the Everafter stone from her pocket and placed it squarely in my hand. I positioned it next to my stone and stared intently at the two. This was the turning point. What I did next could decide our fates. I couldn't mess this up. Yeah, that is outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but there are police sirens, like, continuously outside. Don't know why. Outside my window, I could still hear the sound of construction vehicles driving by. It was now or never. And as close to one solid motion as I could manage, I opened my window and chucked the two stones out into the road. I timed it perfectly, and my aim couldn't have been better. Another truck was just about to pass by, and the stones were immediately in its path. The sound I heard next was a satisfying crunch. It was the sound of delicate glass-like rocks breaking into tiny pieces. Shinozaki had rushed over to the window and directly witnessed the fate of the Everafter stones. As soon as the truck drove over them, she collapsed to her knees. Good on you, Kishinuma.
何をしてでも
I couldn't even finish my sentence before Shinazaki's palm slammed my face with an incredible force. The loud smack of flesh on flesh echoed throughout the room. The side of my face was immediately in pain. I began rubbing it with my hand as I looked into Shinazaki's eyes. Megumi, what an asshole. Her face was filled with tears and her nose was running. She was breathing so heavily. Her shoulders were bobbing up and down.
やっぱりあなたはどうしようもない人。
What a dick.
篠崎聞いて
ちょっとでも信じて私がバカだった。
She was absolutely hysterical with rage.
行かせるかよあんなところに
It was my turn to fire back now. I was certain I'd done the right
こ
thing.
んなんあるったって
You
具体
did.
的にどこだ行って何をするんだよ何のプランもなしに行ってまた死ぬ思いするだけだろ
嫌い。何よバカ。アホ。不良。
Yumi, really don't like her. Leaving me with those hurtful words, Shinzaki then pushed past me and ran out of my room, crying like a child the whole way. I stood back up, rubbing my cheek where I had been slapped. Worthless piece of shit. How?
お願い。どこ。
I had to find them. Found them.
無事だったんだ。
They're okay.
ドラッ
Thought
グ
they
に
would
踏
be
まれたの
okay.
に。
当然だろう。ただの石じゃねえんだ。
あなたは。
よく手段を手に入れたな。論から手段、次に実践だ。進め。貪欲に貪るように邁進しろ。お前はもう飛べる。パンピーどもを超越する世の断りに手を突っ込むことのできる人間だ。
教えてよ。味方なの？
篠崎
篠間くん。
比べてこいつはクズだ。
はなんだよお前
It's that guy passed in front of Shinazaki's place.
壊れなかったのかそれ篠崎渡すんだ
いや。
ダメだ行くんじゃねえ何度死にそうになれば気が済むんだよ渡せ
野生犬だ。歩み、味方かと聞いたな。その通り、守るもの。俺はお前の姉、日の絵の世話になった一番弟子、矢後浦教会のキリア・ミストだ。
お姉ちゃんの。
いい子だ。会場のワードは覚えているな。さてと、それじゃあ実践といこうか。その石貸してみな。 俺にしっかり捕まってろよ。あとほら、お守りだ。なくすなよ。
Argus Cube.
行くな。
ごめん。もう心配しないで。
篠崎。
お前は正しくパンピーの道を生きてろ。
やめて。涅槃よ。死人を迎えよ。
篠崎。
Finally.
マジかよ。篠崎。篠崎。くそ。なんでだよ。くそー。
Really, finally. This is not as dark in here, so the capture is actually showing it.
この匂い、この空気。
Looks familiar.
天神書だわ。あれ？ミストさん、どこ？
Of course she got separated.
幸せの石。ない。
Yeah, you think.
どうしよう。あれはミストさんが。そんな、あの石がないと。あの石がないと。帰れないわ。ミストさん。私、また、この学校に一人ぼっち。
What do you think was gonna happen?
そんな。そんなことないよ。きっとどこかで合流できるわ。前だってそうだったもの。
Like a pomegranate. Die, kill. Curse, hate. You should just die, 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 die.
お前ザクロ。
That's a full of juice.
いらっしゃいませ。
Welcome. She acts like that as soon as she gets there. Now I have to use that to move. Several things written on the black bar growing so brightly, they almost seem backlit. Even with Sachiko gone, the balance remains. Heavenly Host Elementary notes to all the faculty and students, due to recent kidnappings, caution is highly recommended during all daily activities. In each instance, the victim was taken quickly and unexpectedly, so please remain alert and aware at all times. Principal Takamine Yanagihori. There's one thing I'm searching for. I guess I can check this. There are large quantities of long black hair stuffed into the cabinet. Of course. There's one thing I can check. nothing on the desk, right? Nothing in the back of the room. Already winded. I guess I'm gonna have to watch out for that. So finally, it wasn't this dark last time. Yeah, because it was like 2D and everything was kind of brightly lit. There wasn't a clock like that in here last time either. I guess things really are different now. Hope Mizuto hasn't gone too far. I don't even know his phone number. like she could call him in there. Actually, I should leave a message for him. Mizuto, it's Ayumi. Please call me 090XXXXXXXX. I guess they have similar phone numbers in Japan where it's 11 numbers long. Similar to Korea, I mean. I'm happy you put that down, cause that means, hey, I can finally save. So, finally we're into it, and we can look around and see what's going to happen. Huh? Heavenly Host is falling apart more than ever. As a result, there are numerous hazards to watch out for, from broken glass to splinters. Stepping on will lower your HP. Depending on the hazard encountered, only the currently selected player character may get hurt, or the entire party may take damage. HP can be recovered through the use of bandages. Okay, that's... Alright. So did I get hurt? Yeah, I did get hurt. I don't have bandages now though. I don't know how I'm supposed to tell that would hurt me though. I'm guessing those things over there, that blood over there, would hurt me as well. Okay, so we can fall in those holes as well. Something on the floor here. Bandage, okay. A dead body. Before me were the skeletal remains of a human being, sprawled out unceremoniously on the ground. Ah, this is definitely Heavenly Host. This person, I have no idea who he is, but somehow I feel like I've met him before. A name tag rests beside the corpse. Sugatani High Class 2C Toshihisa Goto. Decapitation by wire while searching for friend. Alright, yeah, that was the thing. You need to find all the dead bodies and catalog them. So I'm guessing that's broken glass. It's loose floorboard, still very much intact and entirely solid, should be strong enough to support the weight of even a full-grown adult. This might come in handy, huh? Alright, so I need a loose board like last time. Let's see, do I just place it down? No, I guess it'll just happen automatically. So I can fall in that hole. There's a murky yellow liquid inside the book, filling the hall with an absolutely noxious odor. This is really disgusting. Not that anything in here isn't though. Oh, I thought you were infatuated with pee, right? She loved talking about it previously. Okay, and she just reached in there and got batteries. Interesting. For her flashlight. Alright, so time's up for this one. I'm gonna do what I normally do and save it in a different empty save slot. Make sure that it's saved. So finally, it might be getting interesting. Alright, so one thing I don't like about this place so far is you can't really see the hazards or tell that, oh, this is going to hurt me. Maybe playing the game more, I'll get used to it and be like, okay, that's a hazard. But it's not that great of detail. I know they're saying, oh, it's in HD and stuff when we looked at the advertisement thing, but it's not in that great of detail for us to be like, oh, okay, that's gonna hurt me. I just thought that was blood on the ground, and then after like walking into the broken glass, I was like, oh, I guess that's broken glass. So don't really like that so far, but otherwise, I am happy that we've gotten to this place and we're finally able to have some gameplay, which is insane, right? I said it last time, but it's crazy. This is the first time I've been able to save in chapter 1. After, I know, like, the first chapter was like, I guess an hour long or something, and it's like 5 minutes of gameplay. But yeah, it had to have been, well, at least an hour of dialogue before getting to the first save, which is just crazy game design thing. I know you can, with the Switch, you can go out and like go to settings and turn the game off, and then like if you start the same game again, you'll be at the same place you were. But still, it should have like you can pause at any point and save during that or something. And also, it's just crazy to begin with that you would have that much dialogue. They could have done that, all of that stuff that happened, could have done it with 5 minutes if they didn't want to show how good of writers they are by putting in all this useless stuff about, oh, I leave my socks on the floor, good of my mom to catch that, and all of that stuff. I don't know, they need to have like, just make it a cutscene or something that you don't have to click through, because it's basically one long cutscene. There are no choices to make or anything, it's just reading. Hopefully we're actually in the game now and there's not going to be any more of that stuff for a while, or a minimum amount of it. I know they wanted to get the backstory and everything going around good. The backstory seems pretty convoluted as well. They could have just done it. I know they're trying to make some great story or some like really interesting story where you don't know who's the bad person or something like that, but I think it would have been better to just take like 5 minutes and say, okay, here's the backstory. Chapter 00 is kind of telling you the backstory from the first one, so maybe take 5 minutes to do that, and then 5 minutes, hey, you know what, if we get the Book of Shadows, then we could get our friends back. I need to go back, and then go back, and it's over. But I hope you will watch from here, cause I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing that we're actually going to get to play quite a bit now, but I'm guessing starting here we're actually in the game now after forever. So I hope you enjoyed this video, at least for what it was. I mean, if you watched it, you know the backstory now. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you have watched up to this point, or if you're starting here still, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it so far, but I am getting to the part where I might actually enjoy it. So have that to look forward to in the next episode, and bye.